Hi, how you all doing today? Welcome back to Food for Thought Tuesdays. I am going to talk about the school system. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I kind of want to hit on this topic a little bit because there's a lot of mixed emotions out there about public and private schools. A lot of people are taking their kids out of school to homeschool, which I can understand. You know, the school system is falling apart. It's not as good as it used to be. And the kids are a little out of control too. I mean, the kids do have something to do with it. Don't get me wrong. The kids nowadays are on 1,000. We'll just say that. But anyways, we'll just keep it at the school system part. I think public schools are not bad. Don't get me wrong. There are some good things about it. I do think kids need to go to school for certain reasons, such as social interaction. I think that is so important. I think learning how to respect each other and adults is important. I believe structure is important. I believe some of the subjects, some of the stuff they teach, it does do good. I mean, it's not all wrong. I think, honestly, some kids need to have, I don't want to say this rudely, but some kids don't have any food at home. There are just some families struggling. And that's the only place they're eating is school. Their breakfast and their lunch. And I think some kids, that is a safety place. There's a lot going on in homes that we know nothing about. And for that kid to go to school takes them out of that toxic environment that's at home. There's probably a few percentage, I mean, it's probably very low, but those kids are benefiting from even just being in a normal setting. But, again, on the flip side, I understand why homeschool is appealing. I don't believe kids should be in school for, 6-7 hours a day. I think that's too much, sitting in a classroom. I do believe that they should be out in nature, out getting the sun more and stuff. I don't think they have to be up at the crack of dawn. Even though getting up early is good. I'm not saying no kid should be up at 9, 10 o'clock. But to get up at, 5:30, 6 in the morning or whatever, just to rush around and get on get to school and stuff like that, is a lot, especially the little kids. But and I understand homeschooling, depending on how many kids you have, but they can all get personal attention. You know, there's not this big classroom of 20, 30 kids. So they're all getting the help that they need. And homeschool is still some type of structure. You know, they still have certain work that has to be done. You know, so, but it is a at your own pace type thing. So I can see where that's appealing, and I can see where, you know, they don't have to have the school uniforms and stuff like that. It does save a lot of money. And it does save money that, because now for schools, you, the parent, are flipping the bill. You are paying for a lot of these supplies. And if it's not you, it's the teachers, unfortunately. And I think the teachers are starting to get very frustrated with that. They don't make enough as it is for this type of job. Now you want them to come out of pocket for school supplies and stuff like that that their classroom needs. So, but if the structure of the system changed, it would be an excellent place for kids to go. But I don't think it was designed that way. I don't think it was designed to necessarily help any child grow. I believe it was designed so two parents have to go to work. And where's that child going to go? Okay? That's where all the daycares and stuff popped up. But school was a place to have uniformed information. Okay? They taught what they wanted kids to know. Okay? Like the history. Most of it, probably 90% of what we're taught is false. But we didn't know that. Now that people are awakening to certain stuff, we can see that. Okay? Science. I don't think we need to know all that. Chemistry and all that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm talking anything middle school and under. Do I think they need algebra and all this crazy math? Yeah, addition, subtract, and all that. Yes, we need that. Okay. Do I think the English? Yes, we need English. And we need to bring cursive back in. We don't learn how to write in cursive anymore. Gym. We've lost touch with gym. They do have it, but not like we used to have it. And that is, they should have that every day or every other day to get those kids exercising. Whether, even if it's just stretching and stuff, okay? Yeah, that should be in there. Some of these subjects should go back into the school system. Cooking class. Sewing. Those two are important. Teaching them how to garden, grow stuff. Automobile. I'm talking even at young age, even the simplest things. Don't you think everybody should be learning that? I think as you get to middle school, start learning about finances, how the bank system works, interest, all that. As you get into high school, more advanced financing, investing and stuff. Then if they want to learn more chemistry or algebra and all that extra stuff, then they can put that in. Okay, if they want that as a career, that should be an elective. And we shouldn't, okay, that's probably going to sound bad to a lot of people, but we should not be prepping them for college. I think college is a outrageous amount of money to learn the things you can do learning a trade. Because when you go to college, not only are you learning the stuff that you need for that particular career, but there's a lot of extra little things in there that you probably don't need. And it is so expensive. It doesn't take 4 years. It doesn't take 8 years. It doesn't take 12 years. That's a long time. And a lot of money for people to put back in. Now, I can see becoming a doctor and stuff. Don't get me wrong, yeah. Please take your time with that. I'm not saying cut it loose. But it shouldn't be so expensive. And I believe we forget about all the trade schools. There's so many trades out there. Plumbing, carpentry, stuff like that. Even driving truck and stuff. That a fraction of that, the money. And you make good money doing those trades. And you can own your own business and stuff. We forget about those. We keep teaching kids, we gotta go to college to get a good job and this and that, and you really don't. I remember back in the day when we were at a job and stuff, we could get promoted to whatever in the company because they would train us. We didn't have to have this degree, that degree, and everything. They would help train you for that job. And we kind of need to get back to that. To become a GM of something, you shouldn't have to have a master's degree or something. You know what I mean? It should be, well, they've been working at this company for a long time. They know most of it. Let's teach them how to do the paperwork and such. Okay? It's all a money scam, and I get it. But that gets going back to school, especially in high school. A lot of kids, even in high school, don't really know what they want to do. But they know what their interests are. And as long as they have that interest, they can pick up that elective for free to go further their education. I know the schools, they have to have healthier lunches and breakfast. They have to. These kids need fuel in their body during the day to function, to brain function. I think 4 hours a day is perfectly fine. honestly, for school. Those are good hours. I don't, maybe like 9 to 1 or something like that. To get what they need, the subjects. And maybe I'm not even opposed to going to school year long. Because honestly, they get their breaks. They do. They get weeks at a time. Honestly, I think the kids nowadays get more breaks in school than I ever had. So, yeah, they have weekends off, and they do get their breaks throughout the year. As it is, school used to start in September. Now kids are going back to school the 1st of August. In the summer months, where they can still be going on vacations with their families, going to the beach, like enjoying the sun, the hot sun and stuff, the parks and all that. The schools, they want back in August. So, again, you've already dipped into summer. So, yeah, not opposed to year long. Long as they get their breaks in between, and their days are shorter, 4 to 5 hours versus 7 to 8 hours. Well, 6 to 7 hours, I should say. I think if we did that, the school system would benefit the kids. So many people wouldn't think it is a waste of time. Field trips. They used to go on field trips. Why aren't they going on any field trips now? And if they are going on field trips, it's far and few, and it's really going nowhere. They need to get back to teaching outside the classroom too. Helping them identify with plants and trees. Even if that was a field trip, take them out to wherever you want to take them. Teach them about that stuff. The kids would love it. Teach them as much as you can to use their hands. Like physically touching stuff. Not just sitting in a classroom learning it. Through books, through reading, through lectures. Because as of now, they have more lessons on computers than they do in the books. No, I don't think so. I think they need to actually read books. Get the information like we used to, going through the books. It's very important. We're getting out of this reading now. We have all this audio stuff. We don't even have to read no more. We just click audio and it tells us and speaks to us. Okay? So, yeah, there is a lot wrong, I get it. But there's also some right. I believe people have just woken up to the fact of how this life is just ruining us. I mean, the way they have us under control and teaching us all the wrong stuff from childhood. Just even all these vaccines just to get in school is unnecessary. It really, really is. They're just injecting our children with all kinds of chemicals and stuff. That needs to stop also. All these vaccinations just to go to school. If they don't have them, then they can't go to school. Well, sports. I think they should have a variety of sports in school. As part of a gym class. You know, even if you had gym as a class, a 40-minute class every day. Every day do a different sport. Teach them that. Girls and boys like sports. It's not just a boys thing. It's all exercise. It's hand and eye coordination. It's a huge benefit. But if you have anything to add, please comment. You know what you think would help the school system. What you think, what changes can be made. Or do you think it should just crumble and be dismantled and just public schools should not exist and we should just homeschool? Let me hear your thoughts on this, because there's just so many different opinions. Like there's so many and I don't have kids that age anymore. Like I said, they're all adults, so I don't necessarily know exactly what's going on. I know through my grandkids, so I get a gist of what's going on in the schools, and I do know they need to change. And I know it is hard because they don't want us to think for ourselves, but it's very important for us, grandparents, parents, to change the system. Very important and crucial to our kids and grandkids learning. But thank you very much for watching this video all the way through, and I hope you're going to like these talks on Tuesdays. Please comment anything that you would like to talk about. And I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.